Good morning, welcome to Move More. We're week 3, but actually we're going to take it back a little bit. We're going to stay with basics because we have to get the basics right, and some of you are new to us, so we're going to think about basics and we want you to practice them in the week, please. I think most of you have got names on your screens, which is brilliant because we need to know who you are. And so I'll just go through. So this course is 25 weeks long, which equates to 25 hours. And the best way for you to make progress from the course is to do an hour's homework at home in your own time. And that can be following the video again, or it could be just 10 minutes of some movement, some of the strength movements or the balance movements or the endurance. So you pick the ones that you think you need to work on, not the ones you find easy. Okay, so spread it out in the week, but try and make sure you've got another hour of movement in your week. Okay, so let's get going. As usual, make sure you've got nice space around you, make sure you've got a drink of water, and make sure you're feeling well enough to join in. If at any point you're not feeling well, have a sit down. If you're sitting, then take a full rest into the back of your chair. If you can, keep your feet moving, because that just helps to stop your heart rate like plummeting, and then you'll feel faint. So let's come away. So imagine you're in the back of the chair having a nice little rest. We're going to come up and think about your posture. So we sit forwards in your chair. Now hopefully you're in a dining room type chair, so quite firm, quite solid. And I want you to just sway from side to side. Your feet are nice and wide, okay, to give you that stable base so you're steady. So this should feel okay. And just relax your shoulders. So drop them down. So people say, how can I relax my shoulders? Drop them down like they're heavy, okay? And just feel that weight dropping. Lovely. And then I want you to start to lift one cheek off the chair. So this is your wide base sway, and it's a good way to start and to get you warm. We always start with a warm up. Warming up your joints and your muscles, getting your heart rate a little bit higher, ready to exercise and move safely. So we're going to start by lifting and pulling, moving the bottom forwards. So lift and shift forwards to the front of the chair, and then we're going to go to the back of the chair. So I'm going to show you from the side. Whoops. So I'm here, I'm lifting and pulling back, so that I come right to the back of the chair and I can't go any further. When I'm there, I'm going to come to the front third of the chair and keep moving. So this is your hip walk. This is how we want you to move forwards in your chair. So if you were slumped in your chair, we don't want you to kind of slide down and then pull up. We want you to really use the muscles in your body to help you to come forwards in the chair. Okay, next time you're at the front third of your chair, I want you to stay there. And that might have made you a little bit breathless because that's using the whole of your body to move you. Okay, drop your hands down. And we're going to come into a lovely shoulder raise. So lift your shoulders and lower down gently. So no jerky movements, lower down, drop your hands by the side, and then lift up again. So a big shoulder raise, big squeeze up to the ears, drop down, and then push those fingers down towards the floor for me. Keep breathing. So we try not to hold our breath as we move. And lift up, big squeeze, and a push down. And try not to jot the chin out. Try to pull the chin back a little bit. So feel that length into the neck. Okay, we're going to just move into a shoulder circle. So we move the shoulders forwards, up to your ears, all the way back and down. And I'll show you side on again. So it's lift, all the way back and down, and my hands come behind my body. So that's why we like you in a dining room chair rather than a sofa or a lounge chair, because it just gives you that space to move. Couple more. Lovely. And then we're going to start by lifting one heel and then the other. So lift, and you're peeling the heel, the foot off the floor. Okay, if we were in class, sometimes we would hear a stamp. It's not that movement, it's a peel. It's a quiet movement. We're just lifting. Podge, can you go onto the other camera, please? Ah, thank you. So lift and lower. Now you can't really see properly in my trainers, but if I was barefooted, you would see me pushing down into my toes and rolling back down. So what's this doing? Those of you that have been with us before should be able to tell me, but it's pumping the blood from your feet up through your calves, your second hearts, up through your body to your heart to your brain. Okay, giving your body some oxygen, getting your body prepared. So this is the heel pump. And we always come back to this. So can we come back to the full camera, please? Okay, we're going to add in, if you can, opposite arm. So it's coming into a little march, so a gentle march. Now, if you can't do opposite, it's fine. It might be work in progress. Some people just don't get it. They just can't do it ever. But it's something that you could do naturally in standing, so don't worry about it. Now, what's the movement like? So look at my arms. So my shoulder is dropped and my elbow is coming behind my body. And you can see that my hand is coming up to my ear and right back down to my hip. And my arm is brushing my sides. Okay, so they're tucked in. It's not kind of like a, I don't know what that would be. Somebody who's a bit bolshy, a bit confident. So brushing the sides. You know what I mean? Like
you look like Mr. Ben.
Mr. Ben. Oh, Rick, what? Who used to change his clothes in a cubicle? Who do you want to be today? Okay, so next movement. Nice wide legs, wide feet, hands to the side. Now lift up. So I'm slouched. I'm going to lift up through my belly and I'm going to lift up through my chest, but I'm not going to stick my chin out, okay? Chin tucks, hands come down, and I'm going to lean to the side and use all the muscles in my belly and my core to pull me back up. My head is staying in alignment and we keep breathing. So it's like you're picking up something that someone's left on the floor. Not saying who, but you know. If you've got one in your house that leaves everything on the floor, that one. Or you might be picking up a loo roll, or your keys, or your coffee, or whatever you've left on the floor. So just a little bend. And then we're going to come back, straight back into that march to keep your heart rates lifted. Keep the heart rates raised. Excellent. Okay, let's drop the neck. So we're going to work on the neck. So we're going to just stretch out. So we're going to drop the ear to the shoulder. So the ear just drops right down to the side. You keep looking to me, so you should be able to see me the whole time. And just hold it there. Lift up to the centre, keep looking at me, and the other ear just drops down towards your shoulder. So just stretching through the neck. And then up to centre, drop the chin to the chest. To centre, and then just gently lift the chin up so that you're looking at the ceiling. And then back to your march. Now we're going to come to feet. Really, really important. We can't stress this enough, how important it is to move your feet and your ankles at the beginning of the day. And we
all know that when you fall out of bed, not fall out of bed, but when you get out of bed in the morning, we've all got crunchy, stiff ankles. Crunchy.
So one foot's forwards, the other foot is going to come heel to toe. Now you're trying to get the heel and the toe on the same spot. And when you lift the toes, I want you to squeeze the toes up a little bit and then toe down, push down a little bit. You can do this in standing if you're used to doing this, but just practice seated if you're not. Now, we're thinking about lifting that leg to point the toes, lifting the knee, and then digging the heel in. If you can't manage this for whatever reason, you can take your foot out and just do a circle. but we really want to make sure we've got that full range of movement through the ankle. You keep going, so that, imagine if I were going to get you to step later, how are you going to kind of step forwards and lift these heels if you haven't warmed them up? Okay, let's swap sides. So heel toe, trying to get it on the same spot again. And you might find that one side is different than the other. That's fine. You might need to take a little bit longer to warm one side up. And that's normal for most people. And ideally, you should do this as you get out of bed or before you go down the stairs if you've got stairs. Excellent. And then wide feet, back to your march, opposite arms if you can. Relax the shoulders. And let's just pump those arms. So a big movement through the arms, please. Excellent. Lovely.
Smiling faces, please.
Yeah, they're concentrating. Is everybody okay so far? So far, so good. Now, we are going to come up to standing. So for those of you that want to stand, I want you to make sure you're standing up properly. So feet come back. We lean forwards. We'll practice this shortly. Push up to standing. At the top, we just lift the heels to push the blood, oxygen up to your brain, and that stops you feeling dizzy when you stand up, or it will help to stop you feeling dizzy when you stand up. Now, some of you might want a chair in front of you with a chair behind you, or some of you will walk behind your chair and have that chair in front of you to support you. You could have a wall or a sideboard, a worktop, whatever you feel you need, but if you need to have a chair close by, then do. So feet are wide, we're going back to that sway, and I want you to think about posture again. So sometimes we slump, and we're used to slumping, so it takes a lot of effort to stand up. So how do we stand up? Again, lift through the belly, lift through the chest, relax the shoulders back and down, tuck the chin in, tuck the belly in, tuck the bottom under. So a lot to think about, and breathe and smile. Okay, so we're going to just bend the knees. We're going to take the hips to one side, send them to me in half a circle and back to centre. I'll show you from the side in a minute. Other side, forward. So we're doing like a semicircle. So to one side, push forwards, centre, stop. Other side, push forwards, centre, stop. And this is warming up the hips, the bottom of the back, into the pelvis. That's it. Couple more times. But you need to bend your knees a little bit, otherwise...
Feel like Elvis. It's definitely an Elvis move, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So imagine your Elvis, side to side, in a little semicircle, and then into march. And then we've got one more. So if you're standing, hips face your chair or whatever you've got in front of you, we're just going to slide the hand across the chair. The other hand comes behind you, and let your eye gaze follow. So it goes over your shoulder. Come to the front again. And then we're sliding the other way. If you're sitting, hands can slide along the thighs.
Did you just see that message?
No.
Okay.
What was it?
Nick was saying that, is everyone okay? You're still with Pat? Yeah? Good.
What's up?
Just the seated options. They wanted to see more seated options.
Oh, right.
Hilda, you right there, lovely girl? Good.
So yeah, if you're sitting and I'm standing, and you'll just wait for a seated option, and I will come to it. Okay. And then hold it there. Back to your march. In seated, it's exactly the same. It's your seated march. Excellent. Okay, we're going to come to a little bit of endurance, but taking it easy today. So we're going to start, and I'm just not behind my chair, just so you can see my feet. So we're going to tap to one side and then tap with the other foot. So a gentle tap One side and then the other. One side. And we're tapping kind of slightly forwards, so it's almost to the diagonal. If I was in front of my chair, thank you, well, it would be to the outside edge of my chair. Keep breathing. Think about posture. So there's a lot to think about, even with just a simple movement. So just a tap, and we're just opening out the hips here. And then we're going to march, and we're going to take it. So I want you to just watch what I'm doing now. I'm going to step together and step back. And then you can join in when you're ready. Now, if you're behind a chair, we're sliding the hands across. Slide so that you're not kind of going, ooh, reach in. Okay, that's not safe. We're always thinking about your safety. So just a step together. Now remembering that when you're stepping together, that's when you'll be most unstable. Think about your posture. Are you looking forwards, or are you looking down at the floor or your feet? You don't need to look at your feet. If you can look upwards, then your centre of gravity changes and you're steadier. You keep going. If you imagine I'm looking down, I'm more likely to fall forwards. Whereas if I'm looking up in front of me, I'm steady, I'm above my feet, my weight is above my feet. Okay, march it out. We're going to change this slightly, and we're going to lift the leg. Step together, lift. So you might need to just step to the diagonal. Everybody in standing, keep going. In seated, you can just do one leg at a time. So it's a pick up, pop it down. That's it. So a lift. Otherwise, if you're standing, you're stepping over something, like you've got a cat there and you've got to step over the cat. And remembering, I always try and say, you don't want to kick your cat here, do you? You want to lift, step over your cat and lift the second foot over. Keep going in seated if you can. If you need to rest out, that's fine. For some of you that haven't done this before, it's quite a lot, and you might start to feel it in the front of your hips, the bottom maybe, because we're stretching that area as well. Excellent. Couple more. Try not to stand on your feet like I just did. Oops. That's called proprioception. We need to know where our own bodies are. And that's why we look down sometimes. I did have a fall. I tripped up in the garden. Oh no, I tripped up outside. I don't wear heels really. And I tripped up and it made me nervous. So then I was really conscious that I was looking down. I tripped up on a cobbled street in St Agnes, I think it was. And it was dark. And then what happens is you're looking down and you're more likely to fall again. So confidence, posture, march, just a heel lift. If you need to rest, rest. If we say carry on and you'll need to rest, ignore us. We're not going to tell you off. We want you to rest. We want you to make sure that this is at your level. Okay, is everybody okay? Give us a thumbs up. Excellent. Lovely. Okay, coming into some balance work. So you can do balance in seated. It's not as effective, but if you need to be seated, that's fine. We can give you options. So today we're going to work through our tandem stand to start with. So I'm going to have my chair at the side of me, and I've stepped far enough away that I'm steady. If I was to wobble out to the side, I can step out. That's your recovery step, okay? That's called a compensatory step. If ever you're to wobble, you get used to stepping. So we're going to put you in quite a narrow stand. So I'm going to give you options. So please just watch first before you do it. The most progressive, the hardest is one foot in front of the other. And we'll change cameras shortly, but just keep an eye, just watch for a minute. So this is your least steady position. Really important that your posture is great, your shoulders are down and your weight is evenly balanced between both your feet, because otherwise you'll be leaning forwards or sitting back. Option, if you're not happy with that, is, Podge, would you mind changing to feet camera, please? Foot camera. So first option, that's the hardest. Second is feet tucked in, so your joints, Helen says where your bunions are, I don't have bunions, I'd like to say, are in your instep. So here, they're quite close together.
Something to be ashamed of, by the way.
No, I know, but here or here. If that's too much, just a narrow step rather than a wide step is okay too. And we're just going to stand. So in seated, exactly the same. You're at the front third of your chair, one foot in front of the other, and just to lean forward so you feel a little bit unbalanced, or here you can even lift one leg up. So it's just a hold in that position. And I really want you to think, feel your body. So are you looking, let's start from the top down. Are you looking forwards? Are you sticking your chin out, or have you tucked it back in? Can you go full body, please? Full camera, please, Podge. Have you relaxed your shoulders down? Have you pulled your belly in? Tuck your bottom under. All those points, and relax the knees. So no stiff knees, relax the knees. And you might feel a little tightness in the bottom, in the hip. And how do we come out of this? We're going to step nice and wide to make you steady.
The compensatory step.
Compensatory step. Can we go to main camera, please? Thank you. So how did that feel? It might make you feel a bit nervous. You might be okay with it. So let's go again that side. So step in front, put your weight evenly through both feet. Remember all those posture: head, chin tucked back, shoulders down, belly in, bottom under, soft knees. Whoop. Hold on if you need to, so you can have a full grip, not a grip. We like you to use the chair to press. So just use it to support, don't grip it for dear life, okay? And then I want you to just take your weight forwards into that front foot and back. Same in seated. You can lean forwards and back. So as I'm leaning forwards, I'm lifting my back heel. As I'm leaning backwards, I'm lifting my toes. And do what's right for you, not fast. This is slow, okay? This is about getting your body and your brain used to balancing and challenging it in whichever way is good for you. So you're either in a tandem, so this is a tandem, or you're in a narrow stand. So it's up to you. And it's helpful to have a notebook, and when you sit down in a minute, write down what you managed. Because in a few weeks' time, you might say, oh, God, look how far I've come. Okay, we're going to come out. How do we come out? We're going to step nice and wide, and you're steady. We're going to swap sides. So take your time. Either wander around the chair to the other side, or move it around. And in seated, you can have a little rest back if you want to. Okay, so key is to make sure you've got some support by you if you need to. That foot comes in front, or narrow, or just a stand here. So weight into both feet evenly, and then soften through the knees. Again, head down to toe, so chin tucked, shoulders down, belly pulled in, bottom under, soft knees, just hold. Again, press down on the chair. You can have the whole hand, or you can have someone in front of you. You could just have a couple of fingers touching, or one finger, or hover. It's up to you. And just breathe. Da, da, da.
And smile.
And smile. And you might feel your ankles and your toes kind of going a little bit crazy, going, what are you doing? I'm really unsteady. Your body gets used to it. Your brain gets used to it. This is why we practice it. Now I want you to come out of this step. How do we do that? Step nice and wide, your compensatory step, which means you're steady.
Lovely. Well done, actually. That was really, you could see the stillness, and yeah, that was good.
And just lifting the heels a little bit as we go back into that move. Seated, exactly the same. So come into that stand again. Remember all those points, those coaching points we call them. Chin, shoulders, belly, tuck under, soft knees. Smile, breathe. And then we're going to just rock forwards and back. So lifting the toes, lifting the heels, toes, heel, toe. If you're tired, honestly, sit or rest. We're nearly done in this movement. Keep breathing. We're going to come into some steps then. And then we're going to come into a nice step wide, so you're steady and safe. Just lift the heels. Okay, we're going to stay on this side because we're going to work through some different directions. So I've got my chair next to me. I'm standing towards the back of the chair, so that, just watch to start with, so that if I'm going to step forwards and out, I can still hold the chair. If I was too far forwards, I'd be like reaching back. That's not good. So we're going to step, so watch first. We're going to step forwards but slightly out, and then we're going to step to the side. And then we're going to step to the back if you've got enough room. To the centre, step to the side, to the centre, to the front. I'm going to move my chair. So you could join in. What I want you to focus on is small steps to start with. And when you bring your feet back in, you've got a gap. So your feet are under your hips, which means you're steady. You're not coming into a narrow base of support. So you'll hear us talking about that quite a lot. Because then if you were to come to here, you can go in any direction because you're steady. That's it. So where are you looking? Are you looking at your feet? Or are you looking at me? Or somebody else? That's it. So not fast, not rushed, taking your time. And we know that this has helped people to stop falling. If they're wobbling, you get used, your brain and your body, your muscles remember what you've done. So if you were to stumble forwards, you take that step automatically. And we're building.
Janet, you right, sweetheart? Yeah, good.
We're building up the muscles, the stretch in the muscles, the joint movements, so that it becomes an automatic reflex and your body's able to do that. Okay, just march it out and we're going to change sides. In seated, it's exactly the same. I'll give you time to change around while I show seated. Seated, you're at the front third of your chair, you're stepping forwards, but you're leaning into that movement. If you want to, you don't have to, and you might just want to do a side movement. You can step back a little bit if you're able to. See how you feel.
You all right, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, other side. So starting away from your chair, so you've got it there. So we're going to step forwards and out slightly. Step to the side and step back a little bit. Step to the side. Step forwards. Good. So it's like a 4-point step. Remember that little gap when you come back to the centre, to the side, little gap to the front. And you might just do tiny little steps, that's fine. Whatever you are able to do. If you've been doing this a while, I know we've started again, but some of you have done this course a couple of times, then you might know, you might be a bit more confident. Lovely. Couple more. That's it. Excellent. Last time backwards. And then a gentle march. Come to seated. Grab a drink of water if you need one. Oh, thirsty. And sit down. And while you're having a drink, I'll show you some bits and bobs that we need you to know about. And then we'll practice them because we're moving into our strength element of the program. So there's different elements, and you'll notice that we work through them every time, but they'll just look slightly different. So while you're resting, having a drink, I'm going to show you the sit to stand. So I don't want you to do this, I want you to just watch. So you're going to hip walk, you're not. I'm hip walking in the chair. I'm tucking my feet back. I'm using my legs and pushing down through my feet to stand at the top. I'm going to pump my heels to send that blood up to my brain, my heart, to stop me feeling dizzy. I'm going to step back, and this is how I want you to step and sit back, sit down in your chairs, sorry. So you feel the chair behind your knees. I can feel the chair against my knees. You're going to stick your bottom backwards, slowly sit down, and you should end up in the back of the chair, right at the back, and then we're going to go again. So feet are slightly wider than hips. We're going to hip walk forward. Keep watching, because you need to kind of recognise what I'm doing, and you might recognise some of the moves that we do with you. Feet are back, I'm going to lean forwards, I'm looking forwards, and then my eye gaze is going to come up. I'm going to push up to standing. I'm going to lift my heels, pump my arms if you're able to. Some people might just need to lift a heel and then the other. I'm going to step back, picking my feet up, feel the chair, stick your bottom back, and slowly lower down if you can. And then you can, oh, you've already joined in. So let's try it, shall we? In seated, if you can't stand up yet, I still want you to hip walk forwards and backwards. And then when you're at the front third, I just want you to take your feet back, eye gaze forwards and upwards, and just come into a little bunny hop. So I'm pushing the weight down through my feet, and I'm leaning. So the movement is a lean. So as you lean, your bottom lifts, and it's quite tiring in seated. So do that a few times, see how you get on. You can rest and start again if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to hip walk, feet come back, look forwards and up, pump the heels. If you want to add the arms, you can. Take a couple of steps back and only sit down if you can feel that chair behind your knees. Stick your bottom back, lower down slowly. We have ploppers. Ploppers is this plop in your chair. We don't want ploppers if you can help it. I know that you might plop for now, but we're trying to get you to go down slowly and steadily. Can we do it a couple more times? If you can't, rest and just watch. Sometimes, if you can't stand up on your own without pushing, hands forwards, leaning forwards and up, can sometimes help you to stand up if you couldn't before.
Sal, you all right?
That's it, Janet, lovely. And the other alternative, some people find crossing their hands, touching opposite shoulders might help. So a big push up and then a march.
John, you all right? Good.
Oh, we've got to do getting your coat off, haven't we? Remember that. He only wants to do that so he can take his coat off in the golf club when he's finished playing. Thank you. Have a rest. Have a rest.
I can see Sally's on the phone.
Have a little
Multitasking.
So that's quite hard. Some of you might find that you can feel that in your knees, in your hips, in your thighs. But hopefully, oh, lovely, David. Brilliant. That's really good. Excellent.
He popped up there.
He did. And David, so let me tell you something. David is one of our really lovely gentlemen, and he's been with us for quite a few years now.
You
and
weren't
he's
quite
got,
sure. You were going
I
to
was going to say lovely, and then you're going to no. I was going to say lovely, and she laughs at me because everything's lovely. But David's quite tall, so he's got long legs. So for David, for him to stand up
and pop
from
up
a
like
dining
that
room chair is harder
it's
than
a cool thing.
us
Well done.
with little legs, Beryl.
Shirley, eye gaze forward, darling.
So
Look forward when you rock up, okay? So rather than looking down towards the floor, I want you to look forward or upwards.
right. So you can practice.
You got it.
Sit
Come
to
on.
stand at home.
Can I do this again?
Do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's practice again. hip walk. And even if you just want to do the sit to stand or the little bunny hop, if
Eye
you've had
gaze
enough.
forward. Eye gaze forward. So when you come to that stand, you look forward, not downwards. Ah, Hilda, you can have a
you're
nap
tired,
later,
lovely.
darling.
So for some of you, though, I know you
Come on, Cliff.
you have curvature in your spine, so that makes it quite difficult to look up. But even if you can just try and look up as much as you can. Lots of things go on in our bodies, don't they, that stop us doing the things that we want to, but we just got to work with them. So feel the knees behind the chair. No, feel the chair behind the knees even. And then come to the front third of your chair. Have a rest. Grab a drink if you need to.
Look at Maggie rocking it out there.
Wow. Amazing. So please practice. If you're rubbish at this, it's fine. We're not all good at everything, but if you think, oh, I'm not very good at this, that's the thing that you need to be practicing. So if you're watching the news and there's a break or the weather comes on, you could come into your chair and just stand up and sit down a few times. That little practice will get you there quicker. Right, so let's come into a little bit of mobility, shall we say. So, and we used to use some of these movements in our assessments, and it shows us how mobile you are, how flexible you are, but also it has a functional element as well. Like John was asking, how do you get your coat off? So we're going to take one hand forwards, wiggle your fingers to me. We're going to turn the palm up, touch your shoulder if you can. If you can't touch your shoulder, you can touch across your chest. Then we're going to walk the hand, so we're aiming to get the hand in between the shoulder blades. You can give it a little nudge with the other arm if you need to, with the other hand. Hilda, if you can't manage this, just across is fine, or just touching. You don't need to come into that full movement, because this can take a long time to get that stretch into the arm. And try not to kind of curve your spine down. Try and lift up through the chest. So it's a lift here. And then we're going to gently drop that arm down and come to the other side. And just notice, where did you reach on that hand? Were you at the kind of your shoulder or your neck? Were you at the top of your shoulder blades or right in the centre? And then let's come to the other side. So we're going to wiggle. Oh, I don't know, I've hurt my elbow. So we'll see. Lift. Again, options are to take your hand across onto the other shoulder. Wiggle, jiggle that hand towards the centre of your shoulder blades. Peter, do what you can. That's it. If you just need to rest it, that's it. We don't want to make these shoulders achy if they don't want to go there. Again, lift up through the chest, belly, breathe. Don't hold your breath. This is where you go, and then you come out of it, you go, okay, and slowly bring that arm down. Where did that hand go? Was it even? Were you equal? Or have you got quite a discrepancy? Okay, hands come behind you and just try and hold on to your hands. And I'm going to turn around in a minute and show you what we want you to do. So just reach in behind with both hands, maybe popping them on your bottom as if you're trying to get them in your pockets of your trousers, or together here. And then we're going to change. So one hand, you need to come to the front third of your chair. So one hand comes down towards your bottom, and then we're going to try and slide that hand up towards the centre of your back, aiming towards your shoulder blades. And what happens is you get a big stretch. You're trying to get this hand up.
Okay, got it.
You're getting a big stretch in the front of your shoulder, the front of your arm. And again, do what you can. Where have you got to? Where is your first finger? Is it at the bottom of your shoulder blade? Is it at the bottom of your spine? Just clock it. This is where you should be writing down. So kind of like right arm, bottom. Okay, other side. So the back of the hand sits on the bottom. So the palm faces out, and we're going to slide. Just slide. Eek. And bring it up. Breathe, smile.
Malcolm, you all right, love?
Or will it wiggle anymore? Where is it in comparison to your other side? Slowly release. Bring your hands together. Don't look at my chin. Actually, I'll cover my chins up here. Push your hands away. I don't want you to see my double chin. Push your hands away. Pull your chin back. Ooh. Pull your chin back. Oh, get off. How many chins do we have? Don't write that one down. Pull your belly in. Push the hands away. Pull the chin back. Can you feel that? I can feel that right into my shoulder. Lovely. And then let go. You're going to give yourself a bear hug. Now, hopefully my mic won't go off. So a bear hug is one hand on top of the other. Wiggle jiggle your hands towards your back, towards your shoulder blades. And breathe. Where are your feet? Have you got nice wide feet? Or have they crept in? So you might be wobbly. No. Good. We trained you well, Beryl. Okay, so which arm is on the top? Take the arms away and swap the top arm on the bottom, bottom arm on the top. Breathe. Smile. And then let go. Okay, we're going to roll one shoulder. Let me show you. Just one side, all the way back. Now, we did this to start with in the warm-up, but hopefully you should be more mobile now, so you might be able to get a bigger range of movement. And then let's change sides, so other arm. So what helps is to drop the hand down by your side. So it's the shoulder that's moving. Sometimes when we bring the arm in, it's more arm and less shoulder. So drop the arm down and feel that circle in the shoulder. Okay, and then can you do like a little body roll? Because you need this to get your coat off. So let me put my coat on. So John needs help to get his coat off. Does anybody else? Sometimes it's, you know, if you've got a heavy coat, it's a bit of strength. It's mostly mobility. So how do you take your coat off? One side. So that's that kind of shoulder roll. And then maybe the other side, shoulder roll. And then you can do a little shimmy to shimmy it off. Or you can just lift that elbow and wiggle it out, other arm to wiggle it out. I'm not sure. Why don't you practice that at home and tell us? Send us an email. So you can see that all those movements that we've just performed, that we've just practiced, are going to help you get your coat off. Now, can you get it back on? Let me see. It's that shoulder mobility, isn't it? It's taking your arm behind you. So it's this movement. And then trying to hold onto your sleeve behind you, which is this movement that we've just been practicing. Yeah? So it's this, and then having the ability to pull that elbow out, which is all those shoulder movements that we've just practiced. And then flinging it to the side. Well done. We need to stretch. So let's have a sit down. Let's stretch in seated. So it's really important to stretch you out so that you don't get achy joints, achy muscles after the class. So you can rest in a minute. So we're going to take one arm across the body, just hold it there. And if that's enough for you, just stay there. If you need a bigger stretch, you can hold the arm, but not the elbow, and just support it with the other arm and just gently bring that arm across your body. So I'm bringing this hand and arm across my body. And breathe. Or you can just stay here. We're stretching out the backs of the arms. And then relax that arm. Other hand goes onto the opposite shoulder. You can wiggle it across or use the other arm to support it. And that just gives you a bigger stretch into the shoulder and the back of the arm. Fabulous. Okay, hands come to the back of the chair or the lower back. You're going to squeeze the shoulder blades and the elbows together. So it's a squeeze and then just lift the chin up slightly so you're looking towards the ceiling. Don't overstretch your neck and keep breathing. This is one where you hold your breath. Breathe. Your muscles need oxygen. Lovely. And then let go. Legs. So one leg is going to come out. I'll go to the side. One leg comes out. The other foot goes underneath your knee so that you're steady and slightly out. The hands go onto your thigh to make sure you're steady.
Of the bent knee.
Of the bent leg, yeah. Lean forward, so you're hinging forwards from your hips. So just watch, it's this movement. So my spine is still nice and long. I'm not rounding through my spine, because then you don't get such a good stretch. And we're stretching the backs of the legs, the backs of the hamstrings, the back of the thigh into the knee. And it's important to make sure that your toes are facing up towards the ceiling, not out, if you can. Breathe. And then let's swap. Oh no, keep the foot there. Relax the foot off. Give it a wiggle. And then squeeze the toes up towards the knee. So we're stretching the calf here. And if we don't stretch you out, you might feel it over the next few days. And then you'll be cursing us. Swap legs. Other side. So the heel pops onto the floor. Hands on the other thigh. Lean forwards from the hips. Excellent. And then sit up, keep the foot there, relax the toes off, relax the foot, and then squeeze the toes up towards the knee. Oh, I can feel that in my calf. Relax it off. You can always do it again a couple of times, but don't bounce, but just a big squeeze, relax. Little bit of Tai Chi, and then relaxation. You're nearly done. Are you with me still? Yeah, nearly done. Okay, so feet wide. We're going to breathe. So hands come together in the centre. Just lift those hands, fingers to the chest and push down. And lift up. Oh, I know, Hilda. I need a nap. I'm coming round to yours. So a little breath that matches that movement. But sometimes, you know, trying to breathe in time with our movements can make you a bit anxious or a bit kind of, oh, I don't know if I can breathe at that level. Don't worry. Do what you need to. Sometimes it just helps to calm your body, your mind and your breath. Helps to slow everything down. Helps your heart rate to slow down. And we will move to standing in a couple of weeks to Tai Chi. Tai Chi is so good for you. It's so good for your balance. It's good for your coordination, stress levels, all sorts. Okay. We're coming into a chi ball. So this is your imaginary ball and it's made of glass or glass. And we're going to take it to the side, just slightly to the side. Don't overstretch. We're going to turn it over and bring the hands to the other side. As you come to the side, turn. So the top hand goes to the bottom hand to the top. So we're not overstretching. We're not in pain, it's not uncomfortable. If you need to make it even smaller, you can. Just literally in front of you, slowly. Breathe. Breathe. Excellent. And then we're going to just take one foot in front of the other, and the other comes back a bit. And we're going to cup our hands, turn them over, and we're coming into our little row. So again, not huge movements, we're not overstretching, just maybe over the knee and then back to the waist. And you can see that I'm leaning forwards, pulling back to my waist, forwards and back, forwards and back, just gently. And then we're going to change sides, because I want to just do a little bit of breathing work with you before we finish. Forwards and back. Forwards and back. So relaxed shoulders. Lovely. And rest. Settle in your chairs. You can slouch. You can go to sleep. You can snore because we can't hear you. You just want to spend a minute closing your eyes. Now, some of you don't like to close your eyes, but if you don't like to, just look down your nose at a point on the floor. Relax your shoulders. If you can close your eyes, just try it. Go with it. Relax your fingers so they rest on your lap. There's no tension. And just breathe. Feel your breath in your body. When you breathe in, what happens to your body? Can you feel your ribs rise? And when you breathe out, can you feel your ribs fall? And just feel, can you make that deeper? So the ribs rise a little more, and then they fall a little more. Can you send that breath a bit deeper down into the belly, so when you breathe in, the belly rises. And as you breathe out, the belly falls. And again. Big belly breath, we call this, and we'll do some more work on this. It can really relax you, settle you. And as we practice, it becomes more natural for you to fall into this state of mind and this breath. Congratulate yourself on a job well done today. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Open your eyes, roll through your shoulders. Have a little stretch if you've not got a tree in the way. Oh, and a yawn. Oh, give yourself, that's it, Beryl, a little round of applause. Well done. Thank you for joining us. This was Move More, week 3. And we'll be back next week on Monday. So take care, everybody. Everybody on Zoom, if you